Hi, Debbie Morton here, and I just want to take a hot minute to let you know that the video you are about to watch wasn't filmed specifically here for YouTube. It was actually over on my Facebook page, and I've brought that content over here to YouTube. So disregard any references to anything Facebook. I'm happy to have you along. If you like my content, you can leave a comment in the comment section, subscribe, and hit that bell if you'd like to be notified anytime I go live in the future. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and thanks for watching. Good morning. Oh, I'm getting a message here. Recording video. Okay, got it. Good morning, everyone. That's weird. Facebook just put a little message up there when I went live. They've never done that before. So the title of this is, it really sucks, but we're all going to do it someday. And so I want to talk a little bit about passing of loved ones, of, the fact that someday we're all going to pass away and we're all going to leave this earth. And I really want to do a live about this. I'm by no means an expert on this. It's not like I can give any legal advice or tax advice or anything like that. I do have a lot of experience. However, I had two sets of parents that lived in two different states with two different sets of laws regarding the transfer of property when a loved one passes away. And recently, my own husband passed very unexpectedly. So I have long-term illnesses, I have unexpected illnesses or unexpected passing. And then on top of that, I used to own a home care company. And so I provided in-home care for seniors that they needed help in the home. They were unable to live unassisted. And so I also have a lot of experience dealing with families that had combined kids, adult kids, and mom assigned power of attorney to her daughter and dad assigned power of attorney to his daughter, and then the daughters didn't get along and they fought, and it actually went to court. It was really a mess. And that was just one example of many, many things that I dealt with having that home care company. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. I wanted to get here before the sun comes up over the hills because then the lighting's horrible. Anyways, back to the subject. We're all going to pass away someday. And when I was a little girl, my stepdad was my dad. Mom married him when I was very, very, very little. And so he was dad. He was always the one that would be there for me. And when I was old enough to kind of realize that my mom could pass away, she had a brain tumor, and she actually was given, a very short period of time to live. Fortunately, she lived to a very late age in life, given her condition. But I grew up thinking that my mom could pass away at any time and I wouldn't be able to stay with my stepdad because he wasn't my legal guardian. So as a child, like, that has always been on my mind, just preparing for what if something happens. And then as I got older, my real father and stepmother live in the state of Kansas. In the state of Kansas, at the time, this was, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, at the time, and I don't know if it's still that way. In the state of Kansas, if a spouse passes away, the assets do not automatically transfer to the other spouse. They actually get divided between the spouse and all the children equally. And so we needed to get everything set up so that there could be a transfer of everything. And it was so different from what I was used to in California, which in California, it's community property, and if one spouse passes, then everything transfers to the other one. So it's really important to know in your state what are the laws concerning how things transfer. But I want to go way farther than that, because when John passed unexpectedly, it was a real eye-opener. We each have a business, so we each have bank accounts, savings and checkings for our businesses. We married later in life, so we each maintained our own personal accounts, and then we funded a joint account. And John also liked to play the credit card game. Everything got paid off every month, but he liked to, let's use the credit card that gives you the best, break on gas for this month, and use this credit card for grocery shopping. And so there were like little balances on all the different cards, depending on which card was giving which perks and incentives. Not to mention, there were purchases. Hold on a second. You guys all follow me and know that I am the money magnet, and there's the penny. So anyways, so the Sorry, lost my train of thought. I got so excited. Anyways, by the way, I collect it all, and I do donate all the change that I collect, but I almost always find a change when I'm out on a walk. So anyways, when John left unexpectedly, there were lots of bank accounts. He took care of all of the bills, all the utility stuff. And then there were credit cards in both of our names. And what happened was anything that was in his name as primary got shut down and locked out. Now, I didn't tell any of the banks that he had passed. So this is a little tip. If someone passes away, don't just start calling the banks, because as soon as you do, they freeze the accounts. And then you can't do anything with them. And then credit cards that were in his name all got shut down. Utility bills, I was trying to figure out like which utility bills got paid from where, and so I could get them set up. So one by one, I was just moving funds into accounts that I knew that I had primary control over, and then getting all of the utilities set up. And one of the reasons I was able to do that, one of the things that made that easier, was John was super organized. And so he had a file drawer that had everything in it that I could go through one by one. He also, on his computer, and I had the password for his computer, and 7 days before he moved on, just out of the blue, I asked him, like, how would I contact your clients if something happened to you? How would I transfer all their stuff if something happened to you? And only 7 days before he moved on, he sent me a document that had the password to the passwords file for all the stuff that he took care of for both himself and the clients, which was a lifesaver for me. So the first month, the first couple weeks, I just took care of his clients because I didn't have a death certificate. There really wasn't a lot I could do for us personally. And then once I got the death certificate, then I could start taking care of all of the things that were there with us personally. But by that time, I had gone through and seen like what was where, so I could get stuff moved and make sure that bills were paid, get all the bills set up on auto pay. Out of my own account, I got everything set up on auto pay because I knew that I was in a frame of mind where I wasn't going to remember anything that needed to get done. So I guess I just want to share this with you. It was probably one of the busiest, toughest months of my life, just trying to figure out what I needed to do, how I needed to get it done. And that's with someone who was very organized, and I had access to everything. So my request is don't put it off. You never know what your last day is. And I've talked to dozens of people now who have reached out to me on Facebook and shared with me their stories, and just heartbreaking stories of accounts that got frozen, and all of the money was there. And it took months before they were able to access the accounts again. And this stuff really happens. Know the laws in your state. I can't stress enough, seek. Let me cross the street because somebody's watering and I don't want to get wet. Seek the help of a professional in your state. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to set everything up. I'm telling you that you need to be aware of it, and you need to have stuff in order so that your loved ones, when you're gone, have instructions. They have the keys to the vault, so to speak, so that they can carry out your wishes, whether everything's in a will or it's in a trust, or you've put payable on death on all of your accounts and they transfer over. And that's kind of what we had done. Everything was payable on death, but there were a couple of accounts where John thought he had sent the form, but the bank hadn't received it. Fortunately, it was on his computer, and somebody at the bank remembered that he had requested it a few months ago. So they went ahead and they honored it. Another account, he had me as a co-signer, but a co-signer doesn't mean that the account will transfer to me. When he passed away, the account was frozen, and I no longer had any access to it. That bank did a small estate affidavit, which is legal in the state of Arizona, to transfer those funds over. So it was a very difficult time, and emotionally, and also with all that needed to be done. So I just wanted to hop on here, I know that it's a really difficult subject. I know that no one wants to talk about what happens if I pass away. And heaven forbid, if you've got stuff on your computer or your phone that you don't want your loved ones to see, guess what? They kind of need to get into those devices to take care of things. And so either clean that crap up, or put it somewhere so that they can access everything that they need to access. I'm so grateful that I had John's passwords to his computer, and I had the passwords to his phone. Everything I needed to do, I could do as though I were him for a couple of weeks until I actually had the death certificate and I could take care of things legally and get things switched around. So that's it. If you've ever, had that experience where you've lost a loved one suddenly or over time, they both suck, right? It's horrible to watch your loved one slowly slip away. And it's also horrible to get that phone call knowing that your last conversation with your loved one was truly your last conversation with your loved one. And I don't know, neither one is better or worse. They just are what they are. But you need to be prepared for whichever is going to happen. And feel free to pass this video along to someone you love that, you've been wanting to have this conversation. And I'm so grateful that John was organized, that I had pretty much everything I needed. And I'm grateful that with each of my parents, they also took the legal steps so that I could take care of all of their affairs. And it's hard enough. It is hard enough when you have all of that. I just can't even imagine if I had to do all of that work and they hadn't made prior preparations. So please forward this to somebody that you know. Share your experience in the comments so other people can learn from your experiences. And I urge you to talk with your banks in detail. Like, each bank is different, each credit card is different, every credit union is different, every state is different. And make sure that you know the laws of your state and that your family knows your wishes so that they can be carried out, because you're no longer there to ask. So with that, I do hope that you have a wonderful day. I don't mean for this to be a downer. I mean for this to be something that inspires you to take care of things so that when you do move on, you know that your loved ones are taken care of and they don't have to worry about, all of your wishes that weren't put in writing. Having had a home care company, oh my gosh, the number of times that a loved one passed away and the kids were they had no idea where to even start with everything. Like, where do we even find any will or legal documents? And it's tough because things get frozen and assets get frozen, and yet, things still need to get paid. So with that, I wish you an absolutely wonderful day. And I know I have several people watching. Unfortunately, my eyesight's not what it is, but I do thank each and every one of you for hanging here with me. And if you're watching the replay, just drop replay down in the comments, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.